Well, October is National Book Month, and Sonic Drive-In's annual Limeades for Learning initiative is going all in on reading this year. And here to tell us about how we can help fill every shelf at local schools and increase access to books is Stuart Brown, Executive Director of the Sonic Foundation, and Siobhan Simmons, representing Family Literacy of Georgia. Thank you both so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having us and helping us tell our story.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. So first of all, Stuart, let's start with you. Why are books and reading important to Sonic?
I mean, look, Sonic has had a history of supporting education across America. It's just one of the values we have is to give back to our community. And over the last 15 years, we've given $28 million to support schools, to support teachers, to support our students. And this month with National Book Month is just one more step in that history and one more step that makes sense for our culture based on what we've always supported. And we're excited to be a part of it.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And Siobhan, I just wanted to ask you, so I've heard the term book desert. Can you kind of explain that?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Book desert is a term coined to define a community really based on census tracts and the National Assessment of Educational Progress in the U.S., the federal government exam that measures a child's ability to read and math, but let's just focus on the reading part. And they also ask a field question that says, how many books do you have, personal books minus textbooks, how many books do you have in your household? And they correlated that information, the number of books a child indicates they have in their household, with their reading assessment score, and determined that children who had less than 100 books in the household were more likely to be 2 years behind academically. And so as a result, the word book desert, coined by the Unite for Literacy organization, identifies a community, a census tract, correlates it to the income of that census tract, and thereby book deserts. I like to say that a book desert is the sister to food deserts. It lacks a healthy resource of books and easy access of books.
Wow, that is fascinating. It just shows how important that this work is. And just keeping it with you, Siobhan, real quick, do you have any kind of tips and tricks to kind of foster a love of reading for our viewers?
Yes, I always tell parents that the biggest thing you want to do is make it a reward. And Stuart is a perfect example as a parent of rewarding his boys when they complete their chores. And you start that early. Can't start it when they're in middle school. You have to start it when they're really young so they don't see books as a punishment. And I think oftentimes adults tend to use books as a punishment, or they provide the books without a child's input. And research does tell us, as a retired educator, that having kids select their own books is important. It's very important for them to see themselves in the books that they read, to hear the language, whether it's their native tongue or the slang that they speak among themselves. And it really helps them develop, even if they have an aspirational life, books that talk about their life they live, but also books that talk about what they may aspire to do. So I always share with parents, find out what your kids like to do, find a book that correlates to what they like to do, but give them at least 3 choices, let them pick a choice. Don't bring it home and say, read this, because I guarantee you it's not gonna work.
Right.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. And so, Stuart, how can we get involved with National Book Month if anybody wants to get involved?
Oh man, it's such a great question. There's 2 really easy ways to get involved this month. You can go to DonorsChoose/Fill Every Shelf, and you can help complete all the projects that are still sitting out there. Last week, through the donation that Sonic Foundation made of over $1 million, we completed 4,500 projects. There's still 12,000 projects out there. So please, DonorsChoose/Fill Every Shelf. The other way you can support us is just go down to your local Sonic. For every drink, slush, or shake that you purchase, a portion of that sale will go to support our Limeades for Learning platform, which will in turn help us give even more money to support organizations like DonorsChoose and Little Free Library.
Wow.
And we're so grateful at Little Free Library organization that is partnering with Sonic in order to underwrite free Little Free Library installations. And again, I like to say they're look like little birdhouses on a post. There's one behind me that is an example, but in your community, get them in the ground. That's the biggest thing. Put the books in them and just watch your community flourish. And you can go to littlefreelibrary.org to register for a new Little Free Library for your community.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us. Absolutely appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
You
You
too.
too.
Oh, that was interesting. I love the
Yes.
little libraries.
Awesome.
It's
Yes.
cute. Yeah.
Yes. Reading's so important right there for sure.